Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. I am very excited today to talk about my goals from 2024 and how I did, and also looking ahead to 2025. I'm kind of combining things into one video because it's so late. Today when I'm filming, it is January 12th, and I still have all of these end of the year videos to make. So we're just gonna smush them all together. Not all, but we're going to smush some of them together today and wrap up my 2024 goals. How did I do? And take a look at my 2025 goals. And in the process, I will share with you some journal stuff. This is the same journal that I've had since, when did I start this? 2021. But I don't use a journal all that often, and I really like it. And I had room in the back for my 2025 business. We'll take a look at this in a little bit, but I love it. So I'm just going to keep using it. We're going to start with looking at 2024. I did follow Becca from Becca Books and Bujo and many others who made 24 goals for 2024. And I got to tell you, it was too much for me. It was too much to think about, too much to focus on, and I didn't do very well. So I did divide it into 6 sections. The first section was hobbies. I wanted to play guitar at church, didn't do it. I wanted to crochet something, I did barely. I wanted to learn a classical song on the piano, did not even attempt that. A couple times I sat down to play, didn't learn a whole new song or even practice one that I used to know and get it like playable again. Didn't do that. Complete the embroidery kit that I have, didn't do that. Off to a great start. The next section was all about connection. And I did a few of these. The first one was to travel somewhere new. I did do that. I went to Kansas City this year. I went to St. Simon's Island in Georgia this year. I went to the Biltmore. I've been to Ashland, but I didn't go to the Biltmore before, and I did that. That was new. So I went to a couple new places this year, which was fun. Last year. Write one snail mail a month. Didn't do that. Go to one social activity a month. I didn't track that, but I think I did get out there and do a lot of different things. I went to a silent book club for the first time. I went to a game night for a meetup. That was not fun, but I went to a singles retreat where I only knew one person. That was kind of cool. So I did do a lot of get out of my comfort zone kind of social activities. I don't know if I did one a month, but because I didn't track it. And then the final connection one was to start or attend an in real life book club. And I did that. So 2 of my friends from my church and January will be our 4th month meeting, I think, or 3rd. I think it's our 4th time meeting. So we're really excited. They're both so excited. They're both big readers as well. And it's really fun to meet in person, try out a new coffee shop or a new restaurant, and just sit and chat books. And I love it very much. So I'm very glad that I did that. So that's 3 things completed out of the 8 that I've talked about so far, which is actually not so bad. But then we move into the spiritual section. I wanted to memorize Ephesians 6, didn't even try. Complete 3 Bible studies. I only did 1. Read through the Bible in less than a year. I started out really great. I did the whole New Testament and a good chunk of the Old Testament, but not all of it. So I didn't finish that. And then finish my Hope Write the Word journal, because my word of the year last year was hope. And I wanted to complete my Write the Word journal for that. And I did not do that. So not so great in that section either. None of those are crossed off. Go, Krista. For the online section down at the bottom, I did good with these actually. In Patreon, I wanted to be more consistent. I had a check-in thing that I started, and I did really good with that. I didn't do every single week, but most weeks I did a check-in. I've also started to do more Patreon-only reading sprints. We've also done a couple hangouts where we just sit and do our own things, but just chat with each other. Some reading challenges and different things that I've added this past year. I think the goal was consistency, and I did get better at that. And then I also wanted to continue with the Christian nonfiction read-alongs on my channel quarterly, and I did that. We did 4 books last year. It went really well for the most part. 2 of the books were not so big hits, and 2 of them were really big hits, so that was great. That will be continuing in 2025. It's not going to be a goal for the year, but it is going to be happening. And then I wanted to do another collab video on YouTube. I really enjoy putting together a collab for Middle Grade March every year. And I wanted to do another one with another topic. And I did that in October in the middle of spooky reading. A lot of people are reading thrillers and darker stuff. I put out a video with a collab of books that make you laugh because I am not somebody who loves that spooky kind of reading. And I love books that make me laugh, but it's not something that I highlight in my reading. And I love it. It came together really well. I did it in the exact same format of what I had done in the past for the Middle Grade March collab. And it was just really cool to get a bunch of booktubers together talking about books that make them laugh. It was really fun. So if you've missed it, that'll be linked in the description below, if I remember. And then the final online goal was to post once a week on Instagram. I think I posted 3 times. So ideally, I would like to post more on Instagram in 2025. I'm not making it an official goal, but hopefully I will be a little more present on Instagram. I do like being over there, but I'm not on Instagram as often as I used to be. So we'll see. We'll see. Then the fifth category that I had last year was physical health. And go to the doctor was my first thing, and I did do that. I wanted to complete a month of intermittent fasting, and I did that. I wanted to close my rings on my Apple Watch for 30 consecutive days, and I did that. And then I wanted to complete 10 monthly challenges, and I didn't track it. I stopped tracking. I do often give myself a challenge for the month that has something to do with health related things. I still do that. I just stopped tracking it. I don't think I completed 10 months of that, but I did get close, and it's something that I do just kind of on my own. I don't always just pay attention or track it. And the final category from 2024 was home/finances. I wanted to declutter I have 6 little rooms or areas in my house, and I wanted to hit each room or area twice in the year. And I did not hit each area twice, but I did do a lot of decluttering, which is great. I even found a new place to bring things that I'm donating rather than taking them to the Goodwill. I have a smaller kind of community center that has a thrift store that's just a few miles away from me. So it's not exactly my neighborhood, but it's pretty close. And I love, they do a food pantry type of a thing every other Saturday, and the thrift store is open during the week. And they do a lot of community outreach type of things. And so I'm thrilled to have that place to bring my stuff rather than the Goodwill, which is just making money off of it. So that's a bonus to me. Maybe not be a completely finished goal, but it got me in that direction and I love it. I wanted to declutter all of my photos. Didn't even touch them. I wanted to save a certain amount of money, and I did do that. And I wanted to be debt-free. I was hoping that this would be the year to get debt-free, 2024. I actually was hoping in 2023 to become debt-free, but with Jordan being sick so much, it adjusted how things were being paid and all of that. And then with him passing, it just didn't remain a focus. You'll see that one again when we talk about 2025. So altogether, I fully completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of the 24 things. And made progress on some of the others. So whatever, like goals to me, here's my little 2-minute soapbox. I love to make goals and not resolutions, because as soon as you mess up a resolution, you kind of can give up on it. But with a goal, any progress is good progress. And ultimately, it doesn't matter whether I made these goals and completed them or not. Like, as long as I'm taking steps in these directions, then I'm making good progress. And so I made progress on a lot of these things, even if I didn't fully complete the goal. So they shouldn't bring stress to my life or yours, or add any anxiety to your life. Nope, they're just for goals. They're ultimately about changing and adapting behaviors to move towards where we want to be. So any progress is good progress. Small steps are good steps, as long as they're in the right direction. So I did do all of that. And as for my 2024 reading goals, I had 7, but one of them I canceled. I like stopped immediately. Like by February, I was like, I don't care about that. Which was to track in and out, like how many books were coming in and how many books were going out. I stopped that because I don't like to track that. I like to track a lot of other things, but I didn't care to start tracking that. Okay. So my first goal for 2024 in reading life was to increase my NetGalley score ratio. At the beginning of the year, it was at 38. I believe I am still at 37 or 38. I did get it above that at one point. So I did get there. But then I filmed in December my anticipated reads for January, February, and March. And I always request all of those books. If they're available on NetGalley, I request them. And that I was approved for many of them, which added to the books that I haven't responded to, like haven't written reviews for yet and haven't read yet. So it is back under that 38%. So I didn't end the year there, but I did get there like 1% above. Yikes. So not really. Again, though, I still have like 12 books to write reviews for. If I would just write those stinking reviews, I would get there. Anyways, number 2 was to read 20 books that were in series. I read many more than that. I think I read 50 out of the 170 something books that I read this year. 50 of them were books that were in series. And I talk about that in the series video that I did maybe December. So I definitely completed that goal. I also wanted to read 12 book of the month books. I think I read 13 or 15 or something like that. So I definitely completed my book of the month goal for the year. I wanted to read 12 of my Christmas book exchange books, and I did not quite get 12. I read 8, which is decent. I wanted to read 12 Kindle books. I read 3. I was hoping to read 1 Kindle book a month. Didn't happen. And then again, I decided to stop trekking in and out. And then number 7 is just challenges. And let's see. I did not keep up with my journal very well. I still need to learn how to make little covers. I don't know that. I don't know how to do that. But I did all but Q in the A to Z challenge. I read nothing that had a Q in the title. For Z, I put Lazaretto because there's a Z in the title. For Sussex or X, I put Siren of Sussex, which I just read in December because it has an X in the title. And then for Y, I put I'll Be Seeing You, which I read in November because there's a word that starts with a Y in the title. Those were the last 4 that I needed. And I didn't quite get Q, but I got close. I don't really focus on the A to Z challenge. It's just fun to see every year. I did not remember to keep track of the Buzzword. There's 5 months I'm still missing, but I know I did holiday season words. The One and Only Family. I read that. I'm not sure if I did it every or alike or there. I don't think I finished that. I think that's it for the challenges. I didn't really keep track of any other challenges. So let's move quickly on to my 2025 goals and a little look through of my journal. So here is my title page. I do have a quote on there that says, maybe this is why we read and why in moments of darkness we return to books to find words for what we already know. I just like that quote. And I saw this. I totally snatched this from somebody online. I didn't draw it as well as they do, but I did my best. I kind of like it. I think it looks cute. 4 goals for 2025. I have simplified. Do I technically still have 25 goals for 2025? Yes, I do. But I have 5 goals. Ultimately, and then I have little ones underneath it that go with that goal. So it's similar to how I set up 2024, except instead of just 6 categories or 5 categories, these are my 5 goals. I feel like it's easier in my mind to focus on these 5 things. And then almost everything that I do is that related to one of my 5 goals. Hopefully that will be where my mindset is. And I basically took off online stuff. But everything else, not everything else. Here's what I have. I'm just going to kind of go through these 5 boxes with you. So the first one is a faithful servant. This is related to my spiritual life, my walk with the Lord. It also is related to my word of the year, which I will take a minute right here to talk about my word of the year with you. Where's all my stuff? I made a pile. Okay, I found my pile. My word for 2024 was hope. I loved thinking about hope throughout the year. and reading different things and noticing every time the word hope showed up. Even when we went to see Sharon McMahon in Kansas City, she talked a lot about hope and how hope is a choice. And it just like little bells go off in my head, like, oh, pay attention. Like, this is your word for the year. And I love having a word that I focus on and think about. And for me, it directs a little bit of my devotional time. And for 2025, my word of the year is going to be joy. My middle name is Joy. And I feel like I've thought a lot about grief as an adult. I mean, my dad passed away when I was 21. My sister passed away in my 30s. My brother just passed away a year ago. So I've had a lot of loss, and also just still being single in my mid to late 40s, and that never having been my plan for my life, and the grief of those kind of unmet expectations of life. I feel like I've thought a lot. I just feel like I've thought a lot about grief as an adult, and it's a part of life. Like, grief is a part of life, but I want to make an intentional kind of shift in my mind. I'm still going to enjoy reading books about grief and talking about grief, and I think it's so universal and not something that's comfortable for people to talk about. But in my mind and in my life, I want to take a little step away from focusing on that and switching to focusing on joy. There's so much to be joyful about, so much to be thankful for. Thankfulness and joy, I think, go hand in hand. Joy does not mean happiness. There's just going to be a lot of things on my mind throughout the year as I think about joy. And so one of the things for my faithful servant goal is a weekly joy check-in. When I was little, I learned that joy means Jesus, others, and you, which is very simplified, but I think it's a wonderful way for me at the end of each week or at the beginning of the week. I don't know when I'm going to try to make a habit of it. But at some point, I want to reflect on my week and think about Jay, like, how did I find joy in my walk with God this week? Was it a really good sermon on Sunday? Did my small group really lift me up? Something that I read or did in devotions? Like, how did my walk with God bring me joy this week? O is for others. So like, how did I bring joy to someone else's life or someone else bring joy to me? How was I intentional about being joyful with other people? Something along those lines. So Jesus, others, and then you. Why? How did I find joy in my own life? Did I take a moment to just enjoy the scenery or like breathe or do a face mask or like whatever little thing that might be? But like, I feel like a quick little check-in, 5 minutes, I'm talking every week, to just reflect on JOY. It keeps that joy at the forefront of my mind. And I really think that that's going to be something that I'm going to love doing. The second goal under Faithful Servant, or the second part of that, is to use my joy journal. So this is the same as what I had for Hope. It's a write the word journal. This one's Cultivate Joy. And basically there is a page for each day. Today is, you can put the date or the day, something that you're grateful for. And then it has a Bible reference here to write out. And then it just has this blank spot to write prayers or thoughts, or it says at the top, on my heart today, and then your word for the day down at the bottom. It just has that for every day. And all of these references, Bible verses will be in some way related to joy. So I do want to use this year. This is from Cultivate What Matters, who produces a journal, a goal-setting journal, and all of that as well. But I really like these Write the Word journals, and they have Write the Word Wednesdays. And so I'm going to kind of adopt that as well. And on Wednesdays, as part of my devotional time, I'm going to use this. And I believe there might be 52 in here. I don't know. There might be more than that, but that's part of my plan. I also have written out, it's in my Bible in the other room because I've already started it. I just kind of found Bible verses online and I just wrote the references down, and I'm going through every day and taking 2 or 3 and writing them out. So that's what I'm doing right now. And when I'm finished with that, I will switch to this one. Other things for joy that I have, I'm just going to be keeping this in my bag. It says, in your presence, there is fullness of joy. This is just a blank. So I don't know if I'll watercolor in here, if I'll write verses, if I'll write thoughts, words. I'm just going to keep this in my bag at all times. The other things for joy that I have, just kind of like on the go, maybe. I have this book called 365 Days of Kindness. And this is just very practical things about how to bring joy to other people by being kind, listen to someone's opinion without arguing, offer to grab groceries for a friend, return a shopping cart for someone. Just like little things in here. It's a dated book. So I just feel like this will be kind of fun to check out every once in a while and do some of those things as a way to bring joy to other people, which ultimately will come back and bring me joy as well. I have this book, Stacey Eldridge, Defiant Joy. This might be one of the 4 quarterly books that we do. This is called Taking Hold of Hope, Beauty, and Life in a Hurting World. This is a book that's just been on my shelves. I'm like, I should read it. It has joy in the title. And then I did pick up this study of Philippians, which is a Bible study by Deb Burma. So this is a 2-month, 8-week Bible study on joy. So I will hopefully complete that this year as well. Anyways, back to the list. There's my joy stuff, but there's a couple more on here that will refer to some of those things. As far as Bible reading goes, I put read the prophets. So from Isaiah through the end of the Old Testament, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. My learning the Bible, books of the Bible as a kid has come back to help. I skip those often. Especially last year, I read a lot of the rest of the Old Testament, but by the time I got to Psalms and Proverbs, I had been slowing way down. So I want to start with Isaiah and read the prophets. Hopefully I'll read more than that, but I want to make sure to read the prophets this year. That section of the Bible called the prophets, major prophets, minor prophets, all that. Complete 2 devotional books. So this would be one of them. And then I'm kind of leaving it open for whatever might come my way or come across my path. I had 3 last year. I'm narrowing it down to 2. And then the 5th part under Faithful Servant is to give to 3 missions projects. So whether that's something that my church is doing or I hear about from someone else, I just want to be having my eyes on the world and giving beyond what I normally give to church and stuff. So that is the 5 things for Faithful Servant. Then my second big goal is financial freedom. So all of these 5 things have to do with money, budgeting, all that kind of stuff. And so I'll just go through them relatively quickly. That first one is going to take up the most amount of time. The rest of these I can probably go through a lot quicker. For financial freedom, I would like to track my spending, save for a car and for a trip. I want to start a specific savings for those 2 things. I want to try cash envelopes. I have been sucked in to that side of YouTube. Lena from Lena's Bookshelf and Maddie from The Bookish Cottage. I blame you, both of you. But there are a lot of people who do all kinds of different budgeting videos, and I've been sucked into the cash spending, cash envelope systems. And so I want to try it. I don't know that it will work for me, but I'm going to try it. That was 3rd. I would like to get out of debt, be debt-free by the end of the year. I'm so close. It's a very achievable goal. I just need to buckle down and do it. And then by the end of the year, I would like to have developed a budget. That's number 5. So I might try different things throughout the year. I just want to be working on that so that by the end of the year, I'm tracking my spending, I'm on a budget, all of that, and I'm debt-free. That would be amazing. The 3rd big goal of the year is to redecorate Jordan's room. I want to totally redo the room, make it different. So the first thing is to organize all of his electronics and sell what I can. He's got 2 different PlayStations, and I have to figure out what cords go with what. He's got laptops, cell phones, like he's got all of his electronic stuff. I still have all of his electronic stuff. I just need to organize it, make sure what goes with what, and then try to sell what I can. I would like to sell on Facebook Marketplace. He has 2 desks in there and a chair, like a gaming chair, and his bed, which is a trundle bed, but it's really old and I want to switch it out for something else. I would like to paint the walls. I've not painted anything in this house since I moved here. My landlord told me that I could, but I'm not big on painting and redecorating. But I would like to paint the walls in Jordan's room. So organize electronics, sell desk, chair, bed, paint the walls, get new furniture, and then new decor, just like new little wall things in there. So that is all for the 3rd goal of redecorating Jordan's room. My 4th goal is healthier living, as always. I would like to track my measurements monthly. I'm not as worried about the scale. I mean, I am, but I would like to track my measurements on the 1st of every month. I would like to complete a 75 medium. Many of you may have heard of 75 hard. It's hard, and I am not there. But soft feels too easy. So I'm doing something in the middle. I'm kind of making my own 75 medium. I'm actually starting that tomorrow when I'm filming this. Today is Sunday. I'm starting a 60-day challenge with a singles group that I'm a part of on Facebook. So I'm like, 60 days, might as well do 75 and just like do my 75 hard right off the bat at the beginning of the year. So I'll have accountability, all of that with this group that I'm a part of. I'm like, now's the time. So complete a 75 medium, which I'll talk more about that in another place. I would like to do intermittent fasting again because I really loved that when I did it. Last year, my goal was to do it for a month. This year, I'm aiming for 100 days and no sugar during that 100 days and separate 100 days from the 75 hard. Yikes. The fourth part of this is to meal plan more consistently. I'm not very good at making a meal plan, but I would like to be by the end of the year. And to try, the fifth part is to try new clean recipes. I would like to try 1 or 2 new recipes a month that are clean recipes, like no processed stuff in there. Think Whole30-esque. And I do have a couple Whole30 cookbooks. That would be a great place to look for to try some new things. My fifth life goal for 2025 is to declutter and simplify. So again, I would like to make monthly donations to the place, the community center, or to the consignment shop. So like monthly, I would like to be taking things out. I would add to that like books. If I narrow down my Pango shelf and like get books out, anything that I'm getting out of the house at least once a month. I would like to post monthly items on Facebook Marketplace. So things that I don't want to just give away, but maybe can get a little bit of money for them. I want to try at least one thing a month that I'm posting on Facebook Marketplace. I still want to focus on a room a month. I think that helps my brain because it gets overwhelming to think about my whole house. But if I just focus on a room each month, that would be great. It would help my brain. I want to read. I have a book, I think it's called Swedish Death Cleaning, The Art of Swedish Death Cleaning, something about the Swedish death cleaning book. I have this book that's supposed to help with decluttering just in a different mindset. So I read that book. And then I have a box in my room or like a bin of face masks, lotions, foot lotions, and I want to use it up. I'm like, these things don't last forever. I keep collecting them, getting them as gifts, buying them, and now I have a whole container of them. So I don't know if I'm going to do like self-care Saturday, face mask Monday. I don't know, something with a catchy phrase so that I use up that box. So that's my fifth part of Declutter and Simplify. So ultimately my goals are to be a more faithful servant of the Lord, financial freedom, redecorate Jordan's room, healthier living, and declutter and simplify. And everything else goes under those categories. And I love it. And I feel like having those 5 goals will help my brain. Okay, we need to move on because I'm getting real chatty. I hope you got yourself a fun drink and enjoy just sitting and talking with me. The other side of this is my reading goals for the year. And there are no surprises here. I mean, they're very similar to past years. But I'm going for it this year. I want my NetGalley ratio to be above 50% by the end of the year. That means I need to write all my reviews and I need to continue reading my NetGalley books. I think having it be a category on my flip and roll has helped immensely. And if I would just sit and write the reviews, I would be doing much better. But I want to aim for 50% or higher by the end of the year. As of right now, I think I'm 13 away from that, which feels very reasonable. There's 12 months in the year, even if I could go up little by little, but I keep adding books because of anticipated reads videos, but those only come quarterly. I think I could stay on top of it. We're going to try. Number 2 is I would like to get my active series, like series that I've started, to be fewer than 25. I talked about that in my series video. I think that's a good, reasonable number. I think it means I need to finish or complete about 14 series and not add too many more onto that. I think it's possible. It's a reach goal. It's a stretch goal, but I'm pushing myself a little bit. The third one is this is a little different. Read all the books that are gifted to me in 2025. Starting with what I was gifted at Christmas time, I have a shelf up at the top of one of my bookshelves where I will be keeping all the books that are sent to me, whether that is sent to me from a publisher or any books that I am gifted, something that someone else spent their monies on and sent to me. I want to put it on a priority shelf. And I would like to read all of those. All. All in capital letters. Read all books gifted in 2025. That's a stretch goal too, but I'm going to try. I made it a category in my flip and roll so that hopefully I could keep that at the front of my focus. Read 12 Christmas book exchange books. I've already read one. So that's doable. I haven't done it in the last couple of years, but it is doable. Read 10 book of the month. I, again, have narrowed that down instead of 12. My book of the month shelf is getting smaller. I love it where it's at. I would like to read 10 and I've already read one. And then my sixth goal doesn't have a number attached to it, which I don't love that. I like to be able to see visibly, but I just want to read more off of my Christian fiction shelf. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half shelves on this big bookshelf that are dedicated to Christian fiction. And I would just like to read them more often than I have in the past. In order to help with some of those goals and some of the challenges that I'm doing, I'm just going to kind of flip through the rest of my 2025 pages in this journal, just so that you can kind of see. So first up, we have my Patreon stuff. So I have a Patreon book club. Every month we read a book together. I need to learn how to put the covers in there. And then each month, some of my patrons get to recommend a book and I pick one. So I have the January book in there, which I've already read. Go me. I'm going to put some kind of sticker or something here. I just haven't found one that fits right. So I have a ton of stickers. I'll find one. But that is my Patreon stuff to track. I went back to this. I used to do this all the time with my book of the month. It's just a simple flower. And then I fill it in and color it. There are 10 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that will be my goal. And any extras, I'll just add around the edge. But I've already read The Light Pirate. So that stem is filled in. This is a bookshelf. I just found a free printable bookshelf. So I didn't have to draw it. This is for Christian fiction. I don't love how I wrote that, but it is what it is. And I already have one that I read. How cool would it be to fill up that whole bookshelf by the end of the year? I don't know if I could do that, but it would be cool. That's just to track my Christian fiction. I have the Buzzword. This side is the word and this side is the cover. She added a cover challenge this year. So I just printed those out. Clearly my ink is going. So that doesn't look quite so pretty, but it is what it is. And I've already read Truth and Lies for January. I read Nothing But the Truth by Avi. So got that. I just need to find one that has a pattern for the cover. This is a challenge that I do not necessarily in the month that it says. I mean, I just kind of fill it in as I need, as I can. The next couple of pages, I would like to keep track of my flip and roll TBR so that I can see what I've read and not read. So this is just 8 months here. And then I have one more page on this side here. I have a place for the A to Z challenge. I don't count the word the. So I've already read quite a few alphabet words. I just kind of see as I go. Again, I don't focus on that. I did print out from Rainy Blue Reads her series Takedown reading challenge. There's just a 4x4 grid there. And then I just wrote them out over here so I can keep track. I've already read one book, Exiles by Jane Harper, finished a series. So I've already crossed off one, but that would be kind of a fun way to help me continue to focus on series. And then down at the bottom here, I just have my ongoing series. And as of right now, I have 40. I'll just cross off series as I complete them. So I should cross off one because I've completed Exile, the Aaron Falk, and that's it. So those are the things that I'm tracking in my journal. I'm going to keep one of these strings in my goals and one of them in my flip and roll because those are the things I will get to the most often, I think. I mean, Patreon pick. I will as well. We'll see. Again, I'm not a big journaler. I love my spreadsheets. So most of what I'm tracking is on a spreadsheet as well, but it's just fun to see the visuals every once in a while. Whew. That was a long chatty chat about goals. My word of the year. I have so many questions for you. I want to know what are some of your reading goals for the next year, if you have any, or life goals. I would love to hear if you have chosen a word for the year. I know not everybody does. I never used to. I've only really been doing it for the last 3 years. I used to say that I'd pick a word for the year, but never really did anything about it. But for the last few years, I really have. And it's been amazing to see how God has brought that word to light in lots of different areas as the year went along. So I'm excited for joy this year. I think that's going to be really helpful and necessary in my life. So I would love to hear if you choose a word for the year, and pick your favorite smiley for my word joy. Pick your favorite smiley face to add in the comments. If you're here and you've listened, but you don't really feel like chatting in the comments, you just want to let me know that you were here, put a little smiley. There's so many choices of smileys. I love seeing which ones you all might pick. And that's going to be it for today. Let's chat down below. Like I said, I love chatting with you down there. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. You guys are what it's all about. All right, that's all for me today. Thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you in another video very soon. Bye.